very demanding job in management consulting. For a job that was even more demanding, teaching. I went to teach 7th graders math in New York City public schools. And like many teachers, I made quizzes and tests, I gave homework assignments. When the work came back, I calculated grades. What struck me was that IQ was not the only difference between my best and my worst students. Some of my strong performers did not have stratified IQ scores. Some of my smart kids weren't doing so well, and that got me thinking. The kinds of things you need to learn in 7th grade math, sure they're hard. Ratios, decimals, the area of parallelogram, but these concepts are not impossible, and I was firmly convinced that every one of my students could learn the material if they worked long enough. After several more years of teaching, I came to the conclusion that what we need in education is much better understanding of students' learning from a motivational perspective, from a psychological perspective. In education, the one thing we know how to measure best is IQ. But what you do in school and in life depends on much more than your ability to learn quickly and easily. So I left the classroom and I went to graduate school to become a psychologist. I started studying quiz and others in all kinds of super challenging settings. And in every study, my question was, who is successful here and why? My research team and I went to West Point Military Academy. We tried to predict which cadets would stay in military training and which would drop out. We went to the National Spelling Bee and tried to predict which children would advance for a decent competition. We studied rocket teachers working in really tough neighborhoods, asking which of these teachers are still going to be here in teaching by the end of the school year, and of those, who are the most effective in improving learning outcomes for the students. We partnered with private companies asking which salespeople is going to keep their jobs and who is going to earn the most money. In all those very different contexts, one characteristic emerged as a significant predictor of success. And it was social intelligence, it was good looks, physical health, and it was an IQ. It was grit. Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make the future reality. Grit is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. A few years ago, I started studying grit in the Chicago public schools. I asked dozens of high school juniors to take grit questionnaires, and then waited more than a year to see who would graduate. Turns out that grittier kids were significantly more likely to graduate, even when I matched them with every characteristic I could measure. Things like family income, standard size achievement test scores, even how safe kids felt when they were at school. So it's not just as West Point or National Spelling Bee that grit matters, it's also in school, especially for kids at risk for dropping out. To me, the most shocking thing about grit is how little we know, how little science knows about building it. Every day, teachers and parents ask me, how do I build gritty kids? How do I do to teach a solid work ethic? How do I keep them motivated for the long run? This only answer is, I don't know. What I do know that talent doesn't make you gritty. Our data show very clearly that there are many talented individuals who simply do not follow through on their commitments. In fact, in our data, grit is usually unrelated or even inversely related to measures of talent. So far, the best idea for building gritty kids is something called growth mindset. This is an idea developed at Stanford University by Carol Dweck, and it is the belief that the ability to learn is not fixed, that it can change with your effort. Dr. Dweck has shown that when kids read and learn about the brain and how it changes and grows in response to challenge, and they're much more likely to persevere when they fail, because they don't believe that failure is a permanent condition. So growth mindset is a great idea for building gritty kids, but we need more, and that's where I'm going to end my remark, because that's where we are. That's the work that stands before us. We need to take our best idea, our strongest intuitions, and we need to test them. We need to measure whether we've been successful. We have to be willing to fail, to be wrong, to start over again with lessons learned. In other words, we need to be gritty about getting our kids grittier. Thank you.